Chapter 108. The Death of Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 1 to 12. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim, and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah, unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. And the Lord said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor, but no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Lord commanded Moses. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. In all the signs and the wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land, and in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of all Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 1 to 12. The man Moses died, but the law of God is eternal, because it expresses the nature of God's being. The setting was the plains area of Moab. Since names have changed over the centuries, we do not know now where the Nebo Mountains are, nor which is Pisgah. We learn something more about Moses. In Deuteronomy 31:1, when Moses tells us he is 120 years old that day, he adds, I can no more go out and come in. Compared to his earlier years, this no doubt seemed true to Moses, but the fact is that, however much ailing, he was still able to climb to the top of Pisgah to see the land of Canaan spread out before him. Moreover, Deuteronomy 34:7 tells us something remarkable. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force, or moisture, abated. In other words, Moses' vision was still of a young man, nor had his sexual ability diminished and disappeared. Our ignorance of Moses' grave is not accidental. No cult of Moses could develop, nor a shrine center around his grave. God caused the memory of it to cease, since apparently the people in general were ignorant of the site. We have a tantalizing reference to the body of Moses in Jude verse 9. Michael the archangel contends, and the word has a legal connotation, with the devil over the body of Moses. This connotation is secondary to the fact that Michael's answer to Satan is God-centered. The Lord rebuke thee. Not even Michael presumes to speak in his own authority, however right the cause. Beyond this, we are told nothing. Even in death, Moses was somehow important. We are not told who was with Moses when he died. Possibly it was Joshua and the angel Michael. The emphasis of the book is on verses 10 to 12, the last 3 verses. These tell us of the uniqueness of Moses. He was a prophet without equal. God had given Moses a status unequaled by any prophet. Only with the coming of Jesus Christ do we see one greater than he. This greatness was the work of God. In two respects, Moses was unrivaled. First, God knew Moses face to face, that is, with a revelation of himself without equal until the incarnation. Moses was close to God because God so ordained it in a very remarkable way. Second, God, through Moses, worked amazing signs and wonders against Pharaoh, his people, and the land of Egypt. Such miracles or supernatural wonders appear only in three eras of biblical history. First, in Moses' day, second, in the time of Elijah and Elisha, and third, in the lives of Christ and his apostles. Their occurrence in the other eras was rare and unique. There is, however, a third aspect of Moses' life, an obvious one, which is not mentioned here. God gave his law through Moses. This is, of course, the subject of all Deuteronomy, as well as Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. Why is it not mentioned in this summary? Because the law is so radically God's revelation of his being, Moses is simply the one who carries it to the people. The plagues on Egypt manifested God's sovereign power and judgments. The law is a revelation of God's righteousness or justice. We should not speak of it as the Mosaic law, because it is God's law. The law tells us what God is, the meaning of his justice, and what we should be. There can be no government without law. This is why the modern parents who seek to replace law by love in governing their children soon find that they have abandoned law, love, and government, because there can be no government without law. The wrong law means tyranny. Tyranny is in fact simply government without God. True tyranny does not refer to the harshness of a rule, but to its humanistic, man-made doctrine of justice. No higher court of God is recognized, and man has no appeal against human injustices. If there is no always valid law of God, there is no salvation, because there is then no eternally valid standard of judgment. Man then simply fails to meet his own or someone else's criteria, a subjective matter, so that salvation becomes a fluid, subjective, and changing idea. We are not saved by the law. Christ delivers us from the death sentence of the law into faithfulness to it. Harold J. Broca wrote, "The most evident sign that we may not be believing Moses or Jesus is that the wonderful possibilities of the promise of the Holy Spirit are strangely lacking in the Church. The Holy Spirit and the law must not be separated." Romans chapter 7 verse 12 tells us that the law is holy. This means that it is our way not of salvation, but of sanctification. We are told that Israel wept and mourned the death of Moses for a month. However much they had disobeyed him, they also always knew that he was a link to God. Now that link was gone, and they wept. The God-ordained link, however, was the covenant and the covenant law, and these continued forever. The only question was whether or not the people would be covenant breakers or covenant keepers. Not even Joshua was entirely immune to seeing Moses' death as a broken link to God. For this reason, God told Joshua, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore, arise, go over this Jordan." Joshua chapter 1, verse 2. God's work did not die with Moses, nor with the death of any man. It continues, and the power of God is always the same in every generation. Men can be used in God's work, but they cannot frustrate it nor hinder it. Those who tried in the wilderness years to oppose or to frustrate Moses' work paid a price for it. God's will is done, on earth as in heaven, and no man can stay his hand or alter his decrees. God's will is always done. This has been a Chalcedon Foundation production, produced by Grace Community School and Nicene Covenant Church. Published by Ross House Books. Copyright 2008, Mark R. Rushdoony. If you enjoyed this audiobook, be sure to visit chalcedon.edu for more books and audiobooks by R.J. Rushdoony.